Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Vanessa and you are watching the Exploring Oracle, or the Exploracle for short. So guys, we have finally made it to the end. Over the past few months, I have been showing you my entire deck collection for 2024, and this is the last category. So I have been putting them into categories, and then I briefly show you the deck, talk about what I like about them, and whether or not I'm going to keep them, rehome them, or if I'm still undecided. So, this is my last category, and I call it the decks that enhance your reading. So, these are spread decks, as you can see here, as well as the ones that I use as clarifiers, or the ones that I use together with tarot. All of these decks would be oracle decks, and let's get on to it. So, the first one is a series of spread decks by Kimberly Chan. So this is the Spread Machine Cards Oracle, and you have her two expansions, the Spread Machine Quest and the Spread Machine Change. So let's take a look. I absolutely love Kim Chan's decks. I think she is very creative, and I think that she puts a lot of attention to detail and quality in her decks. I have almost all of her decks except for the Sparkly Lenormand, and I love them all. So just to do a quick start, so there are different categories in this first deck. So this is the original deck. So you have a seeker category. So these are character and personality cards, focus areas, light work, shadow work, and call to action category. Now, there's also a guidebook, but it's mostly how you use the deck. So other ways, some spread suggestions, and yeah, so that is what it contains. It's not necessarily a meaning of the cards, because the cards themselves do give you that information. So first off, just take a look at these beautiful colorful backs. It is edged. I love edged or painted edges compared to gilding. Just love that. Matte, really good quality cardstock. Sometimes it does, when I overhand, sometimes it does clump, but I think working with it more would help with that. Okay, so anyway, what I do is usually I would draw 3 cards, and then I would draw my tarot. So that's usually how I use these decks. You can pick them intentionally, meaning you go through all of the cards and pick the ones that you would want to use for your spread, or like me, you could just overhand them and see what comes up and then pick your tarot cards. Now, I think this is absolutely creative. I think it's absolutely helpful, but do I use it enough? Probably not. Definitely am going to be keeping this. I love this deck. It's just that sometimes I already have a particular spread in mind when I draw my cards, which is why I don't use the deck. But again, the guidebook will tell you of how you can use this deck to make your readings more effective, or just you can just use it on its own, just to give you things to think about. And I really enjoy that. I love the colors. I love the simplicity of it all. And I got this, I believe, as a bundle, which made it a little bit more affordable. But it is an indie deck, and it is a quality indie deck. So there is a little bit of a... So it is priced a little bit higher than mass market decks. But honestly, for me, it's really well worth it. So what's different about this deck compared to these expansions? Now, you can actually definitely add these expansions to the main deck if that's what you want, but for me, I use them separately, and I don't really use this as much, but I do enjoy using this quest expansion pack. Just to show you, so quick start guide, it has characters, equipment, helpful items you can use or wear, power-ups, statuses, and embark. And of course, a quick start activity for you to build your hero's profile. And the concept of this of this quest expansion pack is it's like a role-playing game. So if you have Yeah. Basically, if you have your status, so this would be your like weaknesses, and then you would have your equipment, and then you would have a power up, so like your strength, basically. And I do enjoy using it in these categories. So unlike the main deck, I prefer using this, picking one card, or shuffling and getting one card from each group, and then do my tarot pulls. I think this is so smart. I do enjoy RPGs. I've been playing RPGs since I was young. I have not played any tabletop RPG game yet. I am very much interested in doing so, and it's just something that I feel is so well thought of, and I am quite excited because it adds that gamification kind of experience to tarot reading. So sometimes I use this when there was a time that I didn't pull cards for, I think, about a month or a month and a half. I was mostly traveling, and when I came back from traveling, I wasn't really that excited to pull cards, and I did use this with the deck, and the reading that came out was really fun and interesting. Now, don't worry if you're not actually a fan of RPGs, or if you don't know what an RPG is, or a role-playing game. I think that it's still very creative and something that you would still enjoy if you enjoy any sort of like gamification in what you do. And yeah, so this one is the deck that I use more often, and I think it's also because there are fewer cards to have to deal with or to look at. So this is for more, I would say, let's say general spreads. You can just use this, but just for me right now, this is what I pull from or use a lot more. Next is the Change, or the Spread Machine Change deck. So this is more focused towards the like shadow work type of spreads, and I actually have not used this. I think I've just flipped through it. So you do have the shadow work category, the flux cards, and the call to action cards, basically. I think I have flipped through. Just going to go through some of these cards for you to have an idea of the keywords, the possible spreads that you can come up with this deck. And I think just at this particular point in my life, I'm not very heavy in the shadow work category, which is why I don't particularly use this deck, or I'm not particularly called to use these spreads. But yeah, I'm more in the quest or gaming era of my life. So yeah. But again, the concept is very creative, very unique. Now I know there are other spread decks around, but I haven't really. But this one really called to me, and that's why I will just continue to keep using these. So let me just put this to the side, but definitely all three of these will be staying. Keeping all three. Next is the Poses Oracle. Now, of course, you can always use Oracle decks or any Oracle deck to enhance your reading, but I do. I guess the rest of the Oracle decks are the ones that I didn't really put into a specific category, and also the ones that I feel are the ones that I read with more often with tarot, because I usually read separate, as a separate tarot and a separate oracle, not really together. But when I do use them together, these are usually the decks that I go for. So this deck is in a rose petal finish, as you know, or if you don't know, it's actually the type of cardstock I don't enjoy as much using, but starting to be okay with it, I guess, as long as it's not super sticky. It is edged or gilded in this matte gold. There is a limited color palette to this deck, but it goes with a lot of tarot decks because of that, because it feels very neutral. There's a good mix of positive and shadowy or light and shadowy keywords. I really like the art style and I really like the keywords as well. Now, it doesn't come with a guidebook, but if you do go to the website, you actually have a poem for each keyword, hence Poses Oracle. So I think that's really creative. But I honestly don't go to their website too much just for the poem, because I just go off from the keyword and the art and the corresponding tarot cards that I would probably have when I use this deck. Sometimes I would also just use this, lay it out, and just create a story, practice my storytelling skills. But usually when I read with this, it looks like this. I would have either the oracle here or a tarot deck in the middle, and then I would pick 2 cards or 1 card to enhance or go with that reading. So this is really, for me, a good, what's that? A value for money deck, because you get a lot of cards and there's a lot of keywords and very, very versatile. You can use it with a lot of decks, especially if you like doing deck pairings. So that is the Poses Oracle. Obviously, another keep in my collection. Actually, just taking a look, I think all of these decks are keeps in my collection. Just briefly looking at the decks that I have. Okay, this one is the Prism Oracle. Tap into your intuition with the magic of color. So this was one of my earlier decks, and I really, really enjoy it because it is different colors, with just a keyword. So the simplicity of it all does help when I just need a simple message, or when I need to enhance or clarify a particular tarot spread. So you like the keywords are again a mix of light and shadow keywords. The colors also match the emotion that's on the deck. Pink for love, black for death, mystery, purple, creativity, stop, red, determination. So yeah, it's also gilded in this holographic gilding. It is glossy, reflects the light, bounces back, so I don't really mind this cardstock, even though it's glossy and it does tend to clump a little bit when you shuffle, when you overhand, but I don't mind. Now, just to show you the guidebook. Now, my guidebook is wonky. First, let me show you the table of contents. So, introduction, how to use the deck, the oracle card spreads, additional uses, the deck, and suggested reading. So, the introduction is fine. Then there's a section. There's a section that's bound. You know, the binding is upside down. But I don't really mind. You know, I didn't return it because when it goes to the actual meanings of the cards here in the deck, it is all correct. So I don't really lose any meaning. Actually, I can just, you know, turn it over. But yeah, so I didn't really mind it as much. But do mind that if you get this, I got this from Amazon, you might get a wonky guidebook. So it tells you about the color as well. And then the cards that are associated with that color. So I'm not sure if it, yeah, it does correspond also to the chakras. So blue for the throat chakra, and third eye for purple, etc. So it's like a chakra deck, color deck, and just a really good all-around oracle. So also will be keeping this in my collection. I don't see this a lot, or I think it might have be because it's a bit of an older deck. But yeah, that's also a really good one. That's the Prism Oracle. So, okay, so this one is the Higher Self Oracle. So, it comes in this tin. The guidebook, it's mostly messages from your higher self, basically. And And yeah, I'm not sure if you can read that, but basically those are the cards. Here are the acknowledgements. So there's a bit of an introduction, the identity crisis, so ego versus the higher self. You have some spreads, techniques to connect with your higher self, and then you go for the card messages. Now, I like this because of the art. The cardstock is a little bit cardboardy. That's something that I don't particularly like in this deck. I do like the backs though, and I like the art. And the keywords: change, gratitude, go with the flow. So again, a good mix of light and shadowy keywords. You can use it with the tarot deck, or you can just use it on its own. Go within fear, balance, courage, forgiveness, anger, strength. So yeah, some also really good keywords here in this deck. And I usually use the this together with a tarot as well. That's the difference. And yeah, I really like the art. I really like the messages, and this one is another keep in my collection. Okay, next we have the Sacred Creators Oracle. This is by Chris-Anne. Okay. It has these element cards that I don't particularly use, so I just put that to the side. So the guidebook here is pretty thorough. So it has a lot more information about the cards themselves, an introduction and the information on the cards. Then you have the creator cards, which I don't use. Yeah, just want to show you. For each card, it has the essential meaning, a self-care message, and detailed information. So pretty much that's how it goes for all of the cards. So yeah, pretty good guidebook. A little bit of a story time. This is my second copy of this deck because the first one I rehomed, but then I realized that I actually like this deck. So I got myself another copy, and yeah, this one is very diverse. You can use it with multiple decks because it's mostly just text. You can use it on its own. You can use it for journaling. You can use it, yeah. So I think it enhances my readings, and it's also one of those multi-use kind of decks that, if it's not, not just for divination, but really just for journal prompts, or for mindfulness practice, like what do you really want? Yes, I also like the simplicity. I like the style of this deck. So this is the Sacred Creators Oracle by Chris-Anne. And this one is Messages from the Light Meditation Deck by Joyce Huntington. So this was a gift. So you do have a small guidebook which just has like a sentence or two about the cards, and you have some spreads, or a spread basically. So just not a lot in the guidebook, but I think where this deck shines is the cards, the art, and the keywords. This is my last pull. So this was gifted to me. I edged it in this color, and you can use this deck as a journaling prompt, or for meditation, or together with tarot. I think, at least for my collection, this oracle goes with a lot of decks in my collection because of the watercolor type of art, which I enjoy a lot. So yeah, this one can be used to enhance your readings, or it does enhance mine. Or again, one of those multi-use kind of things. You can use it just for meditation, just for journaling, just as a card of the day. And yeah, the keywords here are also really good. I enjoy oracle decks with keywords, and I enjoy this particular style of art. Although this card I don't particularly like. Celebrate, aspiration, birth, awakening. transmission. Mindfulness. Let's stay with that card. The cardstock is not too thick, not too thin, feels sturdy, shuffles well, even though it's a square deck, and bounces back really well. Okay, so that is the messages from the light. And the last deck in this collection is actually a deck that I haven't used yet. So this is the Soul Mirror Oracle. This is new from Blue Angel, relatively new. I haven't used this deck, but I do feel that this would be great for enhancing your readings. So you have here how to use the cards, card layouts. So you have 1 card, 2 card spread, mirror spread, soul conversation, and then you go into the actual cards. You have the keyword, the thumbnail, the meaning. So about 2 pages for each deck, and again a reflection. So again, you can use it for journal prompts and all. And what I like about it, but first let's talk about the cardstock. It is matte, typical Blue Angel cardstock, bounces back really well, gilded in this gold. Now what I like about it is that the color palette looks like it will match a lot of decks. The keywords, aside from the keyword, you actually have these mirrored keywords at the bottom. So you have a main keyword, and then you have like a positive and negative meaning. And I think that helps, if you're not really, or at least when I do my readings, I can use this as a middle card, and then I would pull a tarot that would correspond to the left keyword and then to the right keyword. I think that would be a good thing to do with this deck. That would give you another layer to your tarot reading. So that's pretty much what I mean by enhancing your reading. You can use this as an additional layer, an additional prompt to give you more nuance or more meaning to the spread or to your reading. And the art style, I'm not particularly fond of like these types of collage art, but I do find this beautiful. What do you see in this card? Actually, when I first flipped through it, I felt like this was the eye, and this was like I don't know if it's because of my bad eyesight, but yeah, that was the first thing that I thought of. But upon closer inspection, it's not that. So yeah, just really excited to work with this. And just going to flip through a few more. We're almost at the end. Okay, so probably that's it for that flip through, and that's it for my deck collection series. So let me just first pick my top 3. So I'm going to choose Poses as one, because I really think that is very, very unique and diverse and all that. The Shred Machine Quest, and probably, because this does have a lot of meaning for me, because it was gifted and something that I feel is very thoughtful, because it's the type of art that I really like. So these 3 would be my top 3 in this category. So it does help enhance my readings, at least I think so. And that is it. That is after 4 months, right? June, July, August, September. July, August, September. 5 months? June, July, August, September, October. I don't know how to count, guys. June, July, August, September, October. So 5 months of showing you my deck collection. It's finally done. I actually got a few more decks that I did not show, because I felt that I haven't really worked with those decks enough for me to actually have an idea about them. So after this, I'll be going back to my usual one deck flip through type of videos. But I do hope you enjoyed this series. I don't really think that I'm going to be doing one for next year. Probably the year after that, because I don't think a lot would change next year. But yeah, going through this exercise, it did make me think about the types of decks that I do enjoy working with, as well as the number of decks that I still have to go through. It did force me as well to kind of realize that I have way too many decks. I and it really helped me slow down with my purchases this year. I did trade for several decks and I did purchase a few, but I think it's a lot more controlled compared to what I've been doing for the past 3 years. That did allow me to amass this big of a collection. So this was also one of my tarot goals for 2024, and I was able to do it. I didn't think that it would take this long, but if you've been watching this series, if you've been watching any of my videos, I do thank you for doing that, and I hope that you found it interesting. If you did, don't forget to click on the like button and do consider subscribing to my channel. See you again next time. Bye!